Hey, evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Bundesliga show. Hope you're all doing well on this very chilly week that we're having. Obviously, joined tonight by Mark as per usual. How are you over there, Mark? Are you snowed in yet?
Yeah, it has been snowing the last few days here in Franconia as well. So yeah, I think it's pretty much cold all over Germany at the minute. What's it like over in the UK? Is it cold there as well, or?
For the UK, it's cold. In Sheffield at the moment, it's about yesterday night it was -4, -5, I think, which is about as bad as it gets. I think, especially with a bit of a wind chill factor. As I'm up in the hills, going out for a run last night was a really stupid thing to do, but needs must. But yeah, no, we're back tonight to look ahead to match week 18 of the Bundesliga. So we'll be doing our predictions as per usual. Only 8 games to predict as well, as the Mainz game has fallen foul of the weather. So obviously we won't be predicting that. So just the 8 games tonight. But yeah, looking forward to the weekend's action. All the same, some really interesting games coming up, and great points up for grabs. So obviously, before we do get going, thumbs up on the show is always very much appreciated if you can do so. Comment along if you're watching now or afterwards about what you think might happen this weekend, especially in and around your team's performance and chances upcoming. And of course, press the red button to subscribe to the channel. So yeah, we'll just get straight into it. And Mark, you're going to lead off as per. So you've got Freiburg, Hoffenheim to call first.
Yeah, the Bavu Derby, the Baden-Württemberg teams. Yeah, it should be a decent game. It's actually both teams are tied on the same number of points as well, which is quite interesting. Obviously, Freiburg just about above Hoffenheim at the moment, but it's very, very tight game. Obviously, Freiburg won 2-1 on the opening day of the season in Hoffenheim. You know, both sides have had a relatively mixed season, but I think both will be quite happy to be in the top half, in truth. But yeah, I think you probably got to go for the home side here, really, even though Hoffenheim have been really good on the road. And Freiburg, they don't lose many games at home. They really don't. And it is a hard one to predict because the two sides are so equally matched this season. But I just feel as though Freiburg are on slightly better form at the minute. And I'm going to go for a narrow 2-1 home win to complete the double over their county rivals.
Yeah, good stuff, and be really positive stuff. Freiburg, if possible. Köln hosting Borussia Dortmund. This is going to be a tricky one for the home side. Dortmund will be feeling good about themselves in terms of the business that they've done, and obviously kickstarting the second half of the season after the winter break. Obviously, the Rückrunde now starting to get into official business. I mean, Dortmund aren't as great on the road, but they've got a decent enough team and a bit of momentum to take them past this Köln side at the very least. So I am going to say I'll go for a repeat of what they did against Darmstadt. I'll say 3-0.
Yeah, hard to argue against the away side there. And then an interesting game, Bochum, who are starting to show good home form again now. Probably feel as though they should have been able to get over the line last week against Werder Bremen before that last gasp equaliser from Stark. Against Stuttgart, who, despite losing last week, certainly didn't play badly for most of the game, probably bar the first 15 minutes or so, really, when they gave themselves too much to do at Gladbach. But I think one of the key things here is that Stuttgart have a really, really good record against Bochum as well. I remember last year these two sides met probably around about March last year, and both were way down in the league. And Stuttgart managed to get a 3-2 win in what was a really entertaining game.
Yeah,
obviously, it's a different Stuttgart team this year, up in third place ahead of this trip to Bochum. And I do believe he'll get the win here. I think Bochum are a very strong home side, but I didn't see much wrong with Stuttgart last week. Probably Undav just missed a few chances at the wrong time. And I think he's going to get his shooting boots back on this week. And I'm going to go for a 3-1 away win here.
3-1. I'll certainly take that. So looking ahead, we've also got Heidenheim against Wolfsburg on Saturday afternoon. pretty tricky one to call. I mean, obviously, overall form guide saying that Heidenheim are in better nick than their visitors. They'll have a raucous atmosphere ready, no doubt. Heidenheim have been particularly strong at home. That's where they've been getting all their points. So they'll want to make the most of this against the Wolfsburg side, who never really quite know. Certainly at the moment under Kovac, what you're going to get. Obviously, they drew last time out against Mainz, so it doesn't really give us a great inkling. So I can see this game having goals in it. I'll go 2-2 draw, I think. It will be close, but maybe Heidenheim will concede just a few too many to get the 3 points.
Yeah, and then on to the Hessenderby in Darmstadt, Frankfurt. Obviously, these two teams don't play particularly often. Obviously, earlier in the season, Frankfurt did get the win through Kolo Muani. Who remembers him? But he did actually get a goal for Frankfurt this season. It was a big one because it gave them the win over their rivals, Darmstadt. Obviously, this time it's going to be a harder game for Frankfurt because it is in Darmstadt, that tight little packed ground. But I still feel as though Frankfurt are really onto something at the moment. They're working so hard for each other. The defense is really looking good. And that there don't seem to be that many real weaknesses in the side, particularly defensively. Robin Koch has been a star since signing from Leeds as well. I think he's been superb. Probably need a little bit more from Donny van der Beek and Kalajdzic, because obviously last week it was a backs to the wall kind of performance at Leipzig. This time they'll want to go and score a few goals against a rock bottom side. I don't think it'll be an easy game for Frankfurt at all, but I can see them coming away with a 2-1 win. I think Darmstadt will, as they always do, they'll put a lot of effort in, but the likes of Pfeiffer, they just don't have the goals in them. Maybe Skarke has got a chance of getting a few goals for them, but I still see an away win to continue Frankfurt's push up the league there.
Yeah, hard to argue against that. But obviously Darmstadt desperately need points, but derby days always throw those kind of form guys out the window, don't they? So we'll see. Saturday night football. Well, this is going to be a tasty one, isn't it? RB Leipzig against our Bundesliga leaders right now, Bayer Leverkusen. This should be a really good, high-quality match. Naturally, both sides would have been overjoyed by their, performances, shall we say, from last weekend. Leverkusen obviously getting the job done. That's what, title-winning teams do. They find a way, and they have to find a way in Leipzig, where traditionally, they're usually very strong in the Red Bull Arena, Leipzig. You expect to see a reaction from the 1-0 loss to Frankfurt as well. So I can imagine that they'll play better. Obviously, it's about that kind of clinicality. I think we were talking about on Monday, weren't we, that Leipzig failing to score goals, their XG was through the roof and things like that. So if they can take their chances, they'll really test this Leverkusen side. We might be in for a shock, but it's hard to go against Leverkusen as things stand. Obviously, they've drew a couple of the bigger games. Obviously, they draw with Bayern and Stuttgart. This is going to be a tricky one. I'm going to say 2-1 to Leverkusen.
Ooh, big tip.
It could go either way. It really could, I think.
Yeah, obviously it's a massive game as well. I mean, Leverkusen are going to have to keep winning if they want to win the title this year, because Bayern are showing no signs of stopping. And it is going to be the Munich team who kick off the Sunday action as well. Obviously, only 2 games these days on Sunday because of the lack of European action. And the Bundesliga likes to keep most of the games to the Saturday. So, yeah, I mean, let's be honest, this game looks pretty straightforward. We covered the watch-along for this one. It was actually the opening game of the season in Bremen. And to be honest, Rory, I mean, Bremen hate playing Bayern Munich. They've had so many stuffings off them since we've been covering this show. It's almost ridiculous. And the last time they went there, they lost 6-1. And that was when they were probably a much better team than what they are this season as well. So it's going to be a very, very hard game. Seems as though, Ole Werner just doesn't know how to stop this Bayern attack, basically. And he's going to have to come up with some master plan to avoid the away side having a heavy defeat here. And to be honest, that is what I'm going to tip. I'm going to go for a heavy Bayern win because I just feel as though Bayern, they've just got so much quality and they're just not conceding that many goals this year. That one thing that they've really improved on recently, apart from the Frankfurt game, is they're not really shipping that many goals. And, that's very important if they want to keep up with this Leverkusen team. So I'm going to tip a 4-0. I just feel as though the head-to-head, similar to the Stuttgart-Bochum game, I just feel as though the head-to-head here just doesn't add up for the away side. And their season's kind of petering out a little bit for Bremen, really. I'm not really sure what they can do between now and the end of the season other than stay up, really. And I'm going to go for a 4-0 home win for FC Bayern here.
Yeah, well, there's a long way to go, isn't there? So we'll see what happens with Werder. Gladbach, Augsburg. If this game's anything like their first encounter this season, then we'll be very fortunate and licking our lips. Well, the big question is, can Gladbach back up their excellent performance against Stuttgart, and put those goals away and see off another decent side in the shape of Augsburg, who are obviously massively improved since Thorup has taken over. So I can see this going the way of the home side. They'll be better in front of their fans, and Augsburg don't travel particularly well either. So I'll go for a high scoring 4-2 win, I'll say.
Interesting one, yeah, definitely. I think a lot of people tipping Gladbach and Stuttgart to be the two teams that really kind of push on the second half of the season, and we're tipping another 2 wins on the board for them. So let's just have a quick look at the table then. So as it's been much of this season, really, it's as things are at the top of the league. I mean, Leverkusen have led, I think, pretty much every round. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's been a long time they've been up there at the top now. And as things stand, we are predicting Leverkusen to get a massive win there, which would be, for me, probably the first big step towards the title if they can win in Leipzig. Really, I do believe that, even though there's a long way to go. You're looking at those kind of 6-pointers where I think this year that those kind of games are going to be where the title's won and lost, in my opinion. Bayern keeping hot on the heels with an also massive goal difference, and then Stuttgart potentially stretching their lead over fourth place Leipzig. And if the predictions are correct, then Dortmund will have already wiped out that 6-point deficit at the start of the Rückrunde. So we all tipped Dortmund for a big second half of the season. And if the results go the way that we predict, then it'll be an ideal start for the BVB. With Frankfurt also keeping tight as well, with only 3 points off the top 4. Going down to the bottom, I mean, it's not much change in truth, because we're tipping Darmstadt and Cologne to lose. And then obviously, unfortunately, really, Mainz Union is obviously postponed. It's actually the second Union game to be postponed this season as well. So they're not getting much luck. And now they've ended up with a bit of a fixture pile-up as well, potentially. So, not great news for them. But Bochum, and Werder both losing as well, according to our predictions. So we're not going for a particularly strong weekend for the bottom 6 this weekend. No. But Rory, any closing points?
No, not really. Just looking forward to the games as per usual. So we'll be getting ready for all of that. Obviously with the fantasy football hat on. Hopefully you can all check us out tomorrow morning. And of course, the show will be, relevant for a little bit longer as well. So, it gives you all a little bit extra time to get those team changes in before the Saturday afternoon kickoffs rather than the Friday night fixture, which is a bit of a change. But otherwise, absolutely looking forward to it. Thanks everyone for tuning in so far and enjoying the show.
Yeah, just to answer Ballum, thanks again for your comment. Yeah, I think Bayern will lose 7-0. Yeah, okay. We'll win 7-0 in the Bayern Munich Liga home to Bremen. Yeah, I think a lot of people will be tipping a really, really heavy score in this one, Ballum, because as I said earlier, I mean, Werder's record against Bayern is pitiful in truth. And they will be hoping, and a lot of Bundesliga fans will also be hoping that Werder can turn up in this game. And yeah, thanks again to Moritz as well, one of our regulars too. Could be a big chance for Köln to jump the table. Yeah, I think everyone on the show and a lot of people in the Bundesrepublik hope that Cologne can stay up this season, but it's just not looking that likely, is it? And I've got to be honest, from my own perspective, I did tip Cologne and Darmstadt for automatic. Well, both of us did, to be fair. We did go for Cologne and Darmstadt. So from a tipping kind of pundit point of view, then yeah, I'm in some way kind of happy that it's so far coming true. But yeah, trust me, we all hope that Cologne are going to pick up soon anyway. But yeah, great. So yeah, if you enjoyed what you saw today, remember to check out the show again tomorrow morning. You don't have to wait long until our next edition of the Bundesliga show, which will be coming 9:30 European time, 8:30. Rory's going to have to set his alarm for that one. So yeah, remember to check out @OverTheBarExtra and @OverTheBarFB. And don't forget to check out our podcast as well and leave a rating too, because this really helps us. Remember, we're not only a YouTube channel, we're also a podcast as well. So keep checking that out, guys. And as for the YouTube, yeah, don't forget to keep liking, commenting, and subscribing. We are slowly starting to pick up again after a bit of a drop-off over the new year, starting to get a few subs every day again. So keep helping us out and recommending our work. But yeah, as I say, check in with us again tomorrow morning for the Fantasy Football Show. See you there, guys.